In April of last year, I drove to the lumber yard and spent $60 on cedar planks. 2x6s, 8 feet long, 4 boards. I bought $8 worth of screws and corner brackets. I bought 3 bags of garden soil at the hardware store, $12. Drove home, spent a Saturday afternoon building the most beautiful raised bed on my street. Level corners, clean lines. My neighbor stopped his lawnmower to compliment it. Total cost, $80. Total hours, 5, including the drive. Then I walked to the back of my yard and raked a pile of last autumn's leaves into a mound, roughly 10 centimeters high, 2 meters long. I pushed some half-finished compost from my pile into the center, covered it back with more leaves, and called it a bed. It looked terrible, like I had given up on gardening and started dumping yard waste. Time, about 25 minutes. Cost, nothing. Between them, I marked a patch of bare ground. No frame, no mulch, no amendments. Flat earth as is. 3 beds in a single row. Same sunlight, same rain, same wind exposure. Same tomato seedlings, 6 per bed, same variety, same nursery tray, transplanted the same afternoon. I started a notebook and wrote down one question at the top of the page. Which bed earns its keep? 90 days later, I had the answer, and I did not like it. The raised cedar bed, my $80 Saturday project, produced 2.8 kilograms of tomatoes across 6 plants. The bare ground bed, 3.1 kilograms. The leaf mound that looked like a compost accident, 4.6 kilograms. The bed that cost the most grew the least, by a wide margin. Here is what the notebook recorded over those 90 days. Every Sunday, I measured 3 things: soil temperature at 5 centimeters depth, soil moisture, and weed count. The temperature data told the story before the harvest did. In June, I pushed a probe thermometer into each bed at 2 p.m. on a day when the air was 31 degrees Celsius. The cedar bed, 38 degrees at 5 centimeters. The dark soil inside the frame absorbs heat all morning. The wooden walls trap it. By early afternoon, the root zone is a shallow oven. Tomato roots slow their growth above 30 degrees. At 38, some stop entirely and begin to stress. The bare ground, 29 degrees, cooler because there is no frame holding the heat in, but the surface was already cracking into hard plates. The mulch mound, 22 degrees, 6 degrees cooler than the bare dirt, 16 degrees cooler than the raised bed. The leaf layer reflected sunlight and insulated the soil underneath like a blanket in reverse. The roots in that mound were living in a completely different summer. Water told the second half of the story. I tracked every watering in the notebook. The cedar bed needed water roughly every 3 days. The edges dried out first, pulling moisture toward the hot wood. Over 90 days, I gave it approximately 210 liters. The bare ground needed water every other day by July. No cover means direct evaporation, about 270 liters total. The mulch mound I watered once a week, sometimes once in 9 days. I pushed my finger through the leaf layer on day 8 of one dry stretch, and the soil underneath was still cool, still damp. Total water over 90 days, around 80 liters. A third of the cedar bed, less than a third of the bare ground. Weeds completed the picture. The bare ground bed was a war zone. I pulled weeds every Saturday, roughly 30 minutes per session, 12 sessions. That is 6 hours of weeding for 3.1 kilograms of tomatoes. The cedar bed was better, about 15 minutes a week. The leaf mound produced exactly 4 weeds in the entire experiment. I counted them individually because I had nothing else to count. 4 weeds. The leaf layer smothered every seed before it reached sunlight. Let me put those numbers in one place. The cedar bed cost $80, received 210 liters of water, demanded about 3 hours of maintenance, and produced 2.8 kilograms. The mulch mound cost $0, received 80 liters, demanded maybe 20 minutes total, and produced 4.6 kilograms. That is 64% more food from a pile of leaves that I was embarrassed to show anyone. I wish I could say I predicted this outcome. I did not. I built that raised bed because every gardening channel I watched, and I watched dozens, said raised beds were the answer. Better drainage, warmer soil in spring, easier on your back. All of it sounds logical. None of it addresses what happens when July arrives and that wooden box turns into a roasting pan. The drainage everyone celebrates means faster moisture loss. The warmer spring soil becomes dangerously hot summer soil, and your back may feel better, but your plants do not care about your back. A forest does not grow food in cedar frames. It grows food in layers, dead leaves on top, decomposing matter below, dark, cool soil underneath. No walls, no edges, no imported material. The mulch mound was my crude attempt to copy that arrangement. Crude, ugly, and free. The soil inside it stayed cool because the cover blocked direct sun. It stayed moist because the decomposing leaves held water like a sponge. It stayed alive because I never turned it, never baked it, never sealed it inside a wooden box. The cedar bed still stands in my yard. It looks great. My neighbor still compliments it when he walks past. I grow herbs in it now, things that tolerate heat and do not mind drying out. The tomatoes moved to the mulch mound permanently. $80. 5 hours of building, 5 hours of hauling bags from the car, and 5 months of watching the cheapest, ugliest bed in the row outgrow the most expensive one by 64%. Tomorrow, what happened when I stopped spending money on the whole garden? 1 year. $40 to $380. Every dollar tracked.